Have you ever experienced this na you're about to make a decision or you're thinking about your future and your mind starts asking what if questions na what if this doesn't work? What if something goes wrong? What if I'm not prepared? What if I fail? And so on. And once it starts, parang tuloy-tuloy na siya. One thought leads to another, then another, then another, until suddenly, ayan, punong-puno na yung isip mo and it feels heavy. And even if nothing is happening right now, you feel tense. If you're experiencing that, this episode is for you. Because when your mind keeps asking, what if? It feels like you're preparing. But sometimes, actually, pinapagod mo lang pala yung sarili mo. And I've seen this pattern in many people and I've been there too. Most of us were taught that when life gets harder, the answer is to think harder. But many of the biggest breakthroughs in my life didn't come from thinking more. They came from understanding the mind and learning how to quiet it. If you're a business owner, leader, or professional dealing with stress, uncertainty, and the challenges that come with growth, you're in the right place. In this podcast, I share realizations about life, work, and the mind, and how quieting the mind helps us think more clearly, make better decisions, and take focused, effective action. Welcome to Realizations with Clarissa. Common to sa mga taong responsable, those who care deeply, those who want to make good decisions. They don't want to make mistakes. They don't want to fail. And they want to be ready. So their mind does what it thinks is helpful. Yan, laging nagsascan for risks. It imagines possible problems and it tries to anticipate everything that could go wrong. And again, this sounds like a good thing kasi it feels like you're being careful, responsible, and prepared. Diba? But here's what most people don't notice. There's a difference between being aware of risks and yung dun ka na nakatira mentally sa risks na yon. And you might recognize this pattern as well. Yung questions like, oh, what if the economy gets worse? What if my income drops? What if my business doesn't grow? What if I can't provide? What if something happens to my family? So your mind keeps going, trying to figure everything out, trying to solve future problems that haven't even happened yet. And the more you think, the heavier it feels. And here's the part that most people don't realize. Your mind is actually trying to protect you. And it believes that by thinking about all the possible problems, you will be safer, na more prepared and in control. But what many people start to notice is this, na most of the things your mind is worrying about are not happening right now. They're just imagined. And when your attention is constantly in imagined problems, your body can start to react as if they are real. So even if your situation hasn't changed, your experience of it becomes heavier. And this is where the pattern becomes exhausting because your mind doesn't stop at one what if. It keeps going. Now, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And then what? Diba tuloy-tuloy na? There's no end to it. So your system can stay activated. You feel tense, stressed, overwhelmed, upset, and over time, it can start to affect your sleep, your energy, your ability to focus, your ability to enjoy your day. Not because your situation is worse, but because your mind is often scanning for danger. And I remember working with someone who was in this exact state. He runs his own business and when I first saw him, makikita mo talaga immediately na he had dark eye bags, he looked tired and drained, and he told me na hindi siya makatulog properly for several weeks. Because his mind just wouldn't stop. He was worried about the future, about the economy, his income, his business, sa mga anak niya. And every night, his mind would go into that loop. Now, what if this happens? What if things get worse? What if I can't handle it? And even during the day, he couldn't fully relax. Even when things were okay, because his mind was somewhere else in the future at yung mga pwedeng mangyari sa future. And during our coaching session, we didn't change the situation. We didn't fix the economy. And we didn't suddenly increase his income. We didn't remove uncertainty, pero something changed. He started to see what his mind was doing. He started to see that the weight he was feeling was coming from all the what-ifs he was carrying. And as that awareness came in, his system started to relax. And you could really see it. Ayan, nag-soften yung mukha niya, nag-relax yung katawan niya, his breathing changed. And by the end of the session, he noticed he felt much lighter. And what became clear to him was actually okay naman sila ng family niya. And after a few weeks, I heard from his wife that he was talking about that session, how much it has helped him. The situation hasn't changed yet. The economy was still the same. His responsibilities were still there. But his experience changed. He was able to sleep better. He felt lighter. He could enjoy his days more. And one thing that often becomes clear is this. Sometimes the weight we feel is not just from the situation. Sometimes it's how much of the future we are carrying in our mind. The future is endless. There will always be another what if. Pero yung energy mo, it's not endless. Nauubos ang energy mo, especially when you try to control something that doesn't exist. Now, some people might think na, I need to think about the future. I need to be prepared. Hindi ko pwedeng i-ignore ang risks. And of course, that's true. This doesn't mean ignoring reality. It's about starting to notice the difference between planning and worrying. Planning is intentional. Worrying is repetitive. Planning helps you move forward, and worrying keeps you stuck in your head. And as the Bible reminds us, who of you by worrying can add a single hour to your life? Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. So, here's a simple shift you can try. The next time your mind asks, what if, just pause and ask yourself, is this something I can act on right now? If yes, then take the next step. But if not, notice that your mind is just imagining future scenarios and gently bring your attention back to what is actually in front of you. And you can also try this. When your mind is so busy, bring your attention to your body. Could be your breath, your hands, the space around you. It's not to force your mind to stop thinking, but to remind yourself that you are here, not in the imagined future worst case scenario. And right now, you are okay. And this matters a lot because when your mind is constantly in what if mode, you can lose access to your best thinking. You can become more reactive, more tense, more drained. But when your mind settles, you can actually respond better, make better decisions, take more effective action. So if your mind has been asking a lot of what ifs lately, just pause and ask yourself, how much of what I'm carrying right now is actually happening? And how much of it is my mind trying to prepare me by imagining problems? And what would change if I came back to what is real right now, that's in front of me, that needs my attention? If this is something you recognize in yourself and you feel like your mind has been carrying too much, you don't have to figure this out alone. Because sometimes it's not about working harder or thinking more. It's about seeing what your mind is doing and learning how to relate to it differently. And if you want support with that, you can book a coaching consultation with me. We will look at what's been creating that mental load and help you to start experiencing that shift from heaviness to something lighter and more manageable. The link is in the description. Kung nakaka-relate ka sa episode na to, follow or subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss future episodes. And if you know someone who might find this helpful, feel free to share it with them. And thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you in the next episode of Realizations with Clarissa. And keep building your mental fitness. Because a stronger mind helps us live better and work better.